Okay, so this program is extremely helpful for some of the assignments. Let me clear this for a moment. We work a lot with data files, and we often have multiple data points on the same line. So what you can do is read a whole line and then split it in the elements. Now, this introduces the string stream library, and that library just sees an input as a string of characters. And then you have to find a way to manipulate it, to separate it. You have to know what is in between those values. Another thing that you need to know is that all the parts of that longer input string that you're going to split are basically little strings, and sometimes you want them to be numbers, so you have to convert that string to a number. And there are simple functions that you can use for that. So reading data from a file is great because you don't have to type all the input. I just love it. Over here we have the file data.csv. And we read sales data from 12 stores and store them in 2 arrays size of 12. Okay, so the first array holds the city name, the other name the sales. The sales happen to be in integer format. We can also work with doubles or floats. Now, when we use the string stream to read the data and we need to convert the numbers from a string to a number, we need to use a function over here. We can do that with stoi, which stands for string to integer, and this is string, not strong. You can also do it with doubles, and then you use stod string to double, or for float you can do stof string to float. But over here everything is a city name and then an integer anyway, so we're just going to keep it this way. But you need a string stream library to easily read the data from the file before you can cut it up into little pieces. Okay, so over here we're going to read from the file data.csv. Let me open this up over here, and we're going to go over here to data.csv, and you see that we have 12 cities with some integers over here, some random integers. Not going to get rainbow CSV. So that lets you know what the data is like. And then over here we use a vector, not an array, but a vector of strings for the city names, and then a vector for the integers for the sales data. So we define 2 strings for the line and the value, and over here we read the whole file. So as long as we can read a whole line and put that in that line variable, then we keep loading it up over here. And then after we're done loading up that vector with those 12 elements, then we're going to ask the user to enter a number over here. Now we compare that number, and this is input checking over here with the column size. And this is a little bit confusing over here, because you think it looks like this is still part of the condition, but it's really not, because this is really what's going on. This over here is the condition, and then over here is the code to be executed. And in fact, let's put little return over here, and you can see this over here. So hopefully this will make the point of how important it is to keep things neatly aligned over here. See, this is so much easier to understand. So anyway, over here we want to choose a number over here by the user that's greater or equal to 0, and it has to be go up to the size of the first column, and over here for the second column it's potentially possible that the data file only has a city and not a number. So anyway, this is the condition over here, and then it will print it out for that particular index. Otherwise it will tell us that the index is out of bound. Okay, now comes the important part. We're going to feed that line that we get from the file, and we put that in a string stream SS for string stream. And then we're going to get another line by reading that string stream and putting it into value up to the first comma over here. So the comma is the separator over here. So for the first part of the line, it's going to push that back into column 1, that vector. Then after the first comma, it's going to look for the second comma. Now it may be that there is no second comma. In that case, it just doesn't find it. It just gets the whole remainder of the line, and it puts that in value again, which is now going to be pushed onto the second column. But since we want it to be integers, we convert it over here with the string to integer function. So you've seen the data file. Let's run this over here. Enter an index. We know that there are 12 numbers in the 12 records. I'm going to do 13, and the index is out of bounds, so not a good thing. If we do -8, not going to work either. And if we do number 6 over here, then we have city 7 because computers start counting at 0, and then the corresponding sales data here. So this is extremely useful to split a line based on a particular separator. In this case we have a comma separated values file, which is a text file where the elements are separated by commas. You could also have a regular tab delimited file, and then your separator would be a tab key over here instead of the comma.